Hi everybody, I'm DJ Foster, joined by Grand Valley State head football coach Matt Mitchell as the Lakers prepare for their regular season finale this Saturday at home at 1 p.m. against Saginaw Valley State. Mitch, before we talk about the Saginaw Valley State game coming up this Saturday, let's talk about the Tiffin win, a 49-42 shootout. It was a back-and-forth affair. Bart Williams threw 5 touchdown passes, and he wasn't even the leading touchdown passer, if you will, in the game, as Antonio Pipkin had a great game. It wasn't your best defensive effort, obviously, but you did enough to get the victory. And at this point of the year with the playoffs coming up, that's got to be a good sign.
Yeah, it was a hard-fought victory. I give Tiffin a lot of credit. I thought Antonio Pipkin did a great job. They got some skilled receivers, and anytime you can go on the road, that's a team that was probably a couple plays away from being 7-2. They lost a really close game to Michigan Tech up there in overtime, and also lost to Findlay. So, for us to go down there and get the win meant something to keep getting those wins on the column side. Obviously defensively, we were really frustrated with our third down performance. We forced them to 22 third downs, and we only got off the field I think on 7 of those 22. And so there were some 3rd and 1s and 2s that we got to defend better. There was also some 3rd and longs, where we got to do a better job. We have to get more pressure on the quarterback. We got no pressure on the quarterback first half, and then obviously, things a little bit too easy in the back end at times too. So credit to our offense for matching scores, but on the flip side, in the third quarter, we turned the ball over, and we've got some rough offensive possessions. We step up defensively, get some stops, force a turnover, and did enough on the defensive side of the ball to get us that lead. And, it wasn't necessarily pretty. On either side of the ball, I think there's things we can be better at, but I think our kids were happy to get the win, coming off the loss at Ashland and knowing we're coming back home. That was a big game.
Still on the offensive side of the ball, 49 points. And again, you're doing this without Brandon Bean, who was your leading receiver for the first half of the year. So what are your thoughts on that side of the ball? Obviously, you said there were probably some more points still left on the board, but 49 points is 49 points.
Yeah, we're I think when you look at conference play, I think we're second in the conference in scoring. Our yards per play is up there nationally. I think we're like second in the nation yards per play. So we're getting a lot of big chunk plays, and I think at times, 2 things I would say. You get a little frustrated maybe at the rushing numbers, but we're second in our league in terms of yards per carry. So when we do it, we're having some effectiveness in that. And there's a lot of the passes that we're throwing that are almost kind of pseudo runs, in our mind as coaches. And we're taking advantage of the talent that we have. We feel like Bart Williams is a really good quarterback. He's progressing for being a first-year starter. He's putting up a lot of great numbers. Sure. We'll protect him, and we're getting the ball to our playmakers. As you mentioned, not a lot of teams could endure losing arguably their top receiver, but having that depth that we have at the receiver position, getting some freshmen to step up. Like I said, I think Nick Dotz has done a great job. He had the first catch Saturday, and Martavius Carter's chipping in at running back. We've got a lot of different guys we can get the ball to. And when you have that many threats and you're able to attack defenses, in a lot of different areas on the field, you get a little bit more difficult to defend. 2
years ago, this game against Saginaw Valley State was huge. It was here. You beat Saginaw Valley State, and you played them the next week in the playoffs. You gave them 2 of their 3 losses that year. It's still a rivalry game, so it's still a big game, obviously, and with everything riding on the line for the playoffs for you guys, it's a big game, but they're only 1-9 this year. Now, they've lost some close games, but their record is what it is. Talk about Saginaw Valley State and maybe kind of some of the struggles they're going through.
Well, I think their struggles are, more offensive-based than defensive-based. I see a defense on tape that's physical up front. They've got some defensive linemen that are big and physical. I think they pursued the ball extremely well. They play with a lot of great effort, and so they're just out there a lot. Their struggles offensively have been, you can check out the stats and see where they're at. That has to do with all those new faces they've got. A lot of new offensive linemen they got playing up front. They haven't had a lot of stability at the skill positions, whether it's running back or wideout. Just look at the game-by-game statistics. The same guys haven't played all 10 games. And whether that's due to injuries or otherwise, I don't know. But they hadn't had a consistent lineup there. And then they have a new quarterback. And anytime you're a new quarterback and you got some new guys up front and you got some new people you're throwing the ball or handing the ball off to, and there's not much consistency, it's hard in this league. And based on the league schedule, the way the GLIAC schedules went out, Saginaw is very much like us in that they play all the good teams. Their strength of schedule, our strength of schedule right now is 6th in the nation, and they're right up there with us. They have an extremely hard strength of schedule. So you lose a couple games close, you're struggling on that side of the ball, and you're playing some good competition. That's why they're at where they're at. But we also understand the backstory that's heading into this. There's a lot of rivalry between the institutions. The football teams have a lot of history on the field, and including some of the kids that are playing for both rosters. I got a lot of guys on my roster that were like you said 2 years ago were playing for meaningful games, playoff games. Right. They've got kids in their roster that are out there doing the same thing too. So they're going to be motivated. We know that. They have a lot of pride in what they do, and this is a big game for them, and it's a big game for us. We can now officially say win or go home.
Yeah, the playoffs obviously are certainly a destination for you. You're 7th in the standings right now, so if the playoffs started today, you're in. So a win, you're almost guaranteed to be in. I don't know how you drop out, but you said you hadn't, in your press conference earlier this week, you hadn't really discussed that with the team. Have you yet, and what have you kind of said?
Yeah, once the regional rankings came out on Saturday, and I took a look at the 2 lost teams in our region, The only other two-loss team in our region right now, we have a lot better strength of schedule. We have a lot better metrics that I think that the committee takes a look at. So when you take a look at a couple teams above us are playing again this weekend, and our strength of schedule, I think I'm with a high degree of confidence I can tell our kids, I don't think we're getting past if we win. If we lose, we're out. There's no way we're going to be in. But if we win, I don't think there's anybody that's going to jump us, from the bottom coming up. So, I told them we're at that point. I wasn't sure prior to that when the rankings came out, but with pretty good confidence I can say we win. There's a high probability we're getting in. That's the way we need to approach the game.
Everything going on this weekend. It's senior day. It's the lone afternoon game you play here at home, final regular season game. So much riding on the line. How do you keep the emotions in check, and kind of what do you look for from your guys this Saturday?
Yeah, you bring up a good point. I mean, we're going to honor 10 seniors, and some of those guys are very productive. You look at what Matt Judon's done, Jamie Potts, Brad Horling, Justice Wright, Kirk Spencer. I think he's second in our league all-purpose. I mean, there's a lot of productive seniors on our roster, and so I think for those guys. It'll be a little bittersweet. This is our last game at Lubbers in all likelihood. It's kind of the last time they'll be able to take that, so we'll have to manage that. And I also think, though, that we have a roster of guys that know that we have a chance to keep playing. There's not a finality of this game, and they're going to be motivated to try to do this not only for, the seniors, but for themselves, for this group, this 2015 team. So there will be some emotions heading into the game, no doubt about it, but as soon as that ball's kicked off, it's about execution, turnovers, big plays. You got to focus on the details and the fundamentals of what you got in front of us, and I think we have a group that's done that most of the year.
It's a Battle of the Valleys this Saturday afternoon, a 1 p.m. start inside Lubbers Stadium between the Lakers and the Cardinals. Mitch, thanks for your time and best of luck on Saturday.
Thank you.